Here's a couple of examples of solving trig equations that don't quite fall into the category of the ones that we've already worked through. And they still require your knowledge of the unit circle and where sine, cos and tan are positive and negative, and also your knowledge of those two special triangles. Let's look at the first one. We've got the tan of theta. We know what the tan of theta is, and we know that theta lies in the between 0 and 90, so it's in the first quadrant, and it says find the exact value of sine theta. Now when we see that exact value, we know we can't just use the calculator and get a decimal approximation, so we're going to have to use surds probably in our answer. Okay, so sine theta, we know theta's in the first quadrant. We're given this domain here for theta. It lies between 0 and 90. So we know that sine is going to be positive. So we'll get a positive answer. If we construct a right angle triangle, and just a sketch is fine, and we put theta down here, we don't have to know what theta is. Just plonk it down there. And we know that tan is 0.8. Now 0.8 as a fraction is 8 over 10. Now we could make it smaller if we wanted to, and make that 4 over 5, but that'll be fine as it is. So we can place, now that is equal to the tan of theta. And that's the opposite, and that's the adjacent. Opposite over adjacent is tan. So we can put an 8 there, and we can put a 10 there. Obviously I haven't drawn this to scale. And then using our old friend Pythagoras, we've got, we call that c for instance, we've got c squared equals 10 squared plus 8 squared is equal to 100 plus 64, so that's equal to 164. So c is equal to the square root of 164, which is equal to, I can see that 4 is certainly going to go in there, so that'll be root 4 root 41, and so that's 2 root 41. So that's the length of c. So we can put on the diagram there 2 root 41. And now we know that theta is lying in the first quadrant, so it's very easy now just to use sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 8, and the hypotenuse is 2 root 41. Now because that 2 is connected to the square root by a multiply, I can do some cancelling here. 2 into 1 goes once, 2 into 8 goes 4, so 4 over root 41. Okay, so that is the exact value, 4 over root 41, of the sine of theta. If you're asked for cos of theta, you could just use 10 over 2 root 41 and you could work out the answer. So it's a fairly straightforward procedure. Just draw a triangle, convert the decimal here into a fraction, put those lengths, the numerator and denominator, on the, if it's tan, opposite over adjacent, and then you can work out the other one. Let's see how we go now, sort of moving up and into a little bit more of a complicated situation here. We've got 3 cos of theta is equal to 1. So it's not as straightforward as this. We don't know what cos of theta is. And we know that theta lies between 3 pi on 2 and 2 pi. So a quick sketch, 0, pi, pi on 2, 3 pi on 2, and 0 is, we come back here to 2 pi. So 3 pi on 2, if theta lies between 3 pi on 2 and 2 pi, then theta is going to lie in this quadrant here. Okay. Now if we're after tan of theta, we know that the only one that is positive here is cos, C-A-S-T. So cos is the only one positive, so tan is going to be negative in this quadrant. So we're expecting a negative answer. So my next step is to rearrange this, and I divide both sides by 3, and I get cos of theta equals 1 over 3. Now we construct just like we did before. Here's my theta. Imagine it's just a basic angle, if you like, in the first quadrant. Cos is 1 over 3, and we can call this A, if you like. So we got 1 squared plus A squared equals 3 squared. So 1 plus A squared equals 3 squared and 9. So A squared equals 8. So A is equal to, now we don't have negatives because it is the length of a line. So A is just equal to square root of 8. And simplifying surds, that's root 4 root 2, so that's 2 root 2. So A is equal to 2 root 2. So we can work out now 2 root 2. And so we can work out tan of theta. So tan theta is equal to, we know that it is going to be negative because the angle theta is actually not an acute angle. It is all the way around here somewhere, and this will be my theta. So we know that tan is going to be negative, and then we can look in this diagram here, and what is the tan of theta? It will be just 2 root 2 over 1, so it'll be just 2 root 2. Okay, so that will get us through tan of theta, 2 root 2, and that should just about get us there, I think.